Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Modesty33 here, aka Chris with a C. Back at you in another video. If you're new to my channel, you just happen to click on. Welcome. I try to put out at least one video a week, but we'll see as far as the new year. You guys know I'm still working full-time. I'm still working part-time. I'm still doing things with ministry and pretty active, but I do plan on scaling down for 2024. So I don't know if y'all heard that, but that was like nearly an accident that sounded like right outside my window. But yes, hopefully they're okay. But yeah, anyway, sorry guys. So yeah, I do plan on investing more in the channel in 2024, and hopefully, yeah, I'm gonna be transitioning out of a few things. So hopefully I will be able to transition out of my part-time job by April and have more free time to do things. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, just wanted to share that with you before getting into the video. But yeah, I did want to do and film this video as far as items that I sold in 2023 and why, and give you just some information about the items and talk a little bit about the resale process when you are selling your items. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I did want to say is that what typically prompts me to sell items is usually like a desire for another item, and it doesn't have to be a luxury item. It could just be whatever else that I'm wanting to get. So I remember like some years ago, I sold, I don't know if I ever talked about this, but I sold my vintage Chanel Square Mini. And it was like in the navy color, gold hardware. So I had the 24K hardware. But yeah, the bag was starting to emit like a brassy odor, and then the straps, like the leather in the straps was getting a bit sticky. So that was actually the first item that I sold through the RealReal, and I got, yeah, like a really good profit from that one for what I paid for it. I purchased that bag from eBay from a seller. I think I purchased it for like $1,300. It's sold on the RealReal for like $3,200 if I'm not mistaken. I actually have my information up through the RealReal so I can, you know, go and check. I think it sold for like $3,200. What did it sell for? Yeah, $3,200 is what is what it sold for through the RealReal. So I think, yeah, I made $2,240 from that sale because I got 70% commission. So yeah, like that was a major profit. That I think that's the most I've ever gotten from a sale of an item that I, you know, sold secondary. So, cause yeah, for paying $1,300 and then getting $2,240 for it, on the resale market, like that's quite a bit. So, I sold that item not because I was trying to buy something like another luxury item, but because I did decide to get rid of my mattress at the time that I'd had for 8 or 9 years and invest in a nicer mattress with an adjustable frame because I do have back issues. So, you know, when it was all said and done, that was quite a bit of money. So I used the money from the sale of the Square Mini to put into getting that bed. So again, you know, money can be invested or reinvested in multiple places. That's kind of the benefit of the resale market, that it gives you an opportunity to not just acquire and keep things in your closet, but when you find you no longer have a use for them, you know, they're just collecting dust, and you do have other items you want to buy, instead of having to start from scratch and save up, you know, to acquire that item. And then by the time you save up, it may have already increased in price. I think that's how a lot of people got priced out of Chanel items. So instead of doing that, you can look at something in your closet, you can resell it. Maybe you'll make a profit. Most of the time you do lose a little bit of money, but at least you're not having to start from scratch if you are trying to invest that money either into another luxury item or something else that you consider a luxury, whether that be a vacation, an investment, retail, or not retail, but like if you know, do real estate stuff. So you can invest that money in a, you know, variety of different places. So that's kind of the benefit of the resale market. Keeping that in mind, the resale market, I did watch a video on this earlier, which made a lot of sense. It is more so a buyer's market as opposed to a seller's market. And this is terminology you do hear as it relates to, like, you know, the purchasing of a home or property, as far as if it's a buyer's market or a seller's market. So the retail or the resale market for luxury items is more so a buyer's market as opposed to a seller's market, which makes a lot of sense. That's why you typically don't necessarily turn over a profit on a lot of items you might resell that are in your closet. So you have to keep that in mind, that you're not necessarily going to get what you paid for or more, even if the retail price for the item goes up in the boutique. So you do have to keep that in mind when you're reselling items. It's kind of like the stock market. It really just kind of depends on where the market is and what the demand is for that item at the time. So like in the instance of the Square Mini, the demand was pretty high for the Square Mini at the time. So yeah, it sold for $3,200. Whereas I paid $1,300 to a private seller. So that's where I was able to make my profit margin from that. So as far as items that I've sold, I pretty much took some type of loss except for one item. And that's actually the first item that I sold in 2023. And I do, like I said, I have all the items up here that I did sell resale anyway. One item I did, my mother chose to buy from me, which I've filmed this video a few times and I totally forgot about that item. So that's why I have to refilm it now. But the first item I did sell that I did make an actual profit from was my Louis Vuitton monogram prop bum bag. I purchased that in 2021. And yeah, like I ended up reselling that to the Real as well. And that bag sold on the website for $4,000, which is quite a lot. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll insert a picture, but yeah, this is kind of what it looks like on the website. You guys will remember I purchased this like probably a little bit after Thanksgiving in 2021. It was subsequently the last bag that I purchased, you know, until I purchased this bag in, you know, this year in 2023, which is my Hermes Picotin Lock 18 bag in the color 88 Graphite. Gold hardware, and the leather is Tyrolean Maurice. So I purchased this one the way beginning of this year. Actually, I think this week this bag will be a year old, so I will be doing a 1-year review on this bag. But the purchase of that Hermes Picotin Lock bag this year really did spark me taking another look in my closet, because I knew I did want to acquire a few other Hermes you know, bags in my collection, and other items as well that weren't related to Hermes. So I did sell this bum bag you know, this year, and I did make like $500 profit, because I think I paid back in 2021 like $2,300 for this bum bag after taxes. And I did purchase it directly from the Louis Vuitton website. So yeah, I did, like, I think the Real, what did they pay me? It will tell me here. So, oh, so I made, yeah, like, cause I got 70% plus like a 2% loyalty bonus as well. So I made $2,880 from that purchase, and I paid about $2,300. So yeah, like $500 is what I made from that sale. And essentially I sold that bag too because the interior was annoying me, because you guys will remember it's like a bright kind of orange yellow interior. I was afraid of getting it stained, but I also didn't want to buy a bag organizer because the capacity is much smaller with that particular bum bag than it is for the canvas bum bag that I'm used to wearing. So it's just little things like that really did annoy me. And then too, I bought it to be more understated, but I didn't really find it to be that understated. Like when I would go places, especially like if I was, you know, going to places with a variety of people, even people from church or what have you, like all the guys would comment on the bum bag. They're like, oh man, I really like that Louis Vuitton bag that you have. Like, I need to get one. Like, all the guys recognized that it was Louis Vuitton because you guys, like, I mean, even though it's black, it's empreinte, like you can still, if you got eyes, you can still see the LVs that are embossed in the leather. And funny enough, all the guys noticed it before the girls did. But yeah, with the introduction of more of these items being talked about on social media, yeah, more people recognize these items and they're more recognizable. So they're not necessarily as understated, even though you might feel like the canvas items are loud, and they can be loud. A lot of people still recognize other items that Louis Vuitton sells, even if they're not as popular as the canvas items. So that's what I kind of found with this one. And then with me getting more into Lululemon items in 2023 with working out, exercising, all the things, I did purchase quite a bit of Lululemon items this year. One of the items being the large classic belt bag in the color black. So that one came out this year. I purchased it. It was like $58. It essentially was the same capacity as the monogram canvas bum bag. had very similar characteristics. The back zipper pocket, a spacious interior, and then it was nylon too, so it was carefree, could be worn in any weather condition. So yeah, like when I added that bag, it pretty much was a done deal for me to sell this one. So yeah, that was the first item that I sold. And yeah, the only item that I sold that I really made like, you know, a good profit from. The second item that I sold, it was to Fashion File. The next three items I sold to Fashion File. And the first one was the Chanel lambskin quilted chain infinity bag. That's what Fashion File labeled it as when I purchased it back in May of 2021 from the Neiman Marcus store in the Chanel boutique inside of Neiman Marcus. The tag on it said Chanel top handle with flap is all it was classified as. I think it was from the 19C collection, and it was in, I'll show you guys a picture here. The color is like Jun, or, you know, essentially it's like a yellow color. So that's this bag right here. I purchased it for like $4,200 is what it retailed for in the boutique. And Fashion File paid me $2,800. So that's, yeah, quite a bit of a loss because again, $4,200 is just what it retailed for. So I did have to pay taxes on top of that. So maybe closer to $4,500. And yeah, like $2,800 is what I got from Fashion File for the direct payout. And then even when I checked the real as it related to consigning it at the time, I think the price was even cheaper or was even less as far as what the real would have sold it for on their website and what I would have gotten in return for that item. So I just decided to accept the payout from Fashion File because it was more money. But yeah, I did take a loss on that item, and I don't think I directly bought anything after selling that item. I think I just was ready to part ways with it. I did initially really love the bag. I love the color. I did love the capacity. However, I just felt like the quality was not as good as my other Chanel items that I've purchased in the past. I'm not gonna get on a high horse about beating a dead horse about the whole Chanel quality going downhill or all of that. I can't really speak to that. I haven't really purchased a lot of Chanel since, I really haven't purchased a lot of Chanel, to be honest. This was the last item I purchased back in 2021. I'm not really into the brand anymore like that, to be honest. So I can just speak as far as this item and as it related to the other Chanel items that I owned. I didn't feel like the quality was as good with this item. So it kind of annoyed me. After a while, the color, I wasn't in love with it, and I think mostly because of the quality of the bag. So yeah, I did decide to part ways and sell that item. The next item that I sold after that was when I got back from London, Paris. And the motivation for me selling this item, and this is the Chanel Glaze Calfskin Quilted Large Bag. And it is a backpack that I purchased from Fashion File back in 2019. You guys will remember I talked about this bag. I was really wanting a backpack before going on my trip to Italy in 2019. So this is one that I saw on Fashion File. I think it retailed for about $2,300 at the time. I had just sold my Louis Vuitton Clapton backpack, so I used the money from selling that bag to purchase this one on Fashion File. Let me show you the picture, but you guys will be very familiar with this backpack. I had quite a few pictures with this backpack, and again, the color is burgundy. The hardware is the ruthenium hardware, so almost like a metallic silver. It is a size large, and this backpack does come in like a smaller size. And this is from a 2015 collection. It was in calfskin leather. It had a very vintage look to it, even though, again, it wasn't vintage. It was from a 2015 collection. So I think the full name of the backpack was the Chanel Salzburg Paris Mountain Backpack. Something like that is what the full name of it was. And I decided to sell this backpack after getting back from London and deciding to do the exchange with the Cartier Justin Clou small bracelet with the diamonds. When I did decide to go back to Cartier and exchange that bracelet for this one, which is the regular size Justin Clou without the diamonds, there is quite a bit of a price difference, you guys. So I did decide that if they did let me do the exchange for this one, for this Justin Clou, that to make up for the price difference, I was gonna sell the backpack. So they did let me do the exchange. So the next day the backpack was gone. So that's just what it was, because again, it was quite a bit of a price difference to do that exchange. I couldn't be happier. I did have some sentimental attachment to the backpack just because it's kind of the last trip that was taken before the world went crazy. It was a great trip. It was a lot of fun. You know, every trip has its own story attached to it, but I do have quite a few pictures with me in the backpack when going to Italy, even pictures, you know, with me carrying the backpack as of, you know, the past few years since I moved here to Houston. It was a backpack that I would, you know, pack up and take with me when I first moved here, when I would go out to different places because I didn't know how long I would be gone. So it was a great bag for that. But I just wasn't using it. I wasn't wearing it. You guys know that I work from home, so I don't use as many of my bags as I used to use when I was going out more. And so it helps me as it relates to downsizing. And because there are certain bags I gravitate toward more than others. So this one was just one that I didn't really gravitate toward, especially this year. So it was just kind of easier to make that decision to sell that one. So yeah, I did take a loss on that one from Fashion File, but $1,500 to me wasn't bad. So I was willing to part ways with it for that price and amount. The next item that I did sell it to Fashion File as well. And this is also related to my 2019 trip in Italy. It is on Fashion File's classified as the Chanel Metallic Lambskin Quilted Zip. And it's this one right here. I think when I bought this in 2019 from a boutique in Rome when I was on that Italy trip. I think it was classified as a Chanel O-Zip round coin purse is what it was classified as, but that's what Fashion File classified it as. But this one is from the 2019 Egyptian collection, if I'm not mistaken, is when that collection was released. But yeah, it's like this kind of gold color or beige, and then the hardware is antique gold. The interior had the Egyptian print. So I couldn't tell you what I paid for it from the boutique. I have the receipt somewhere, but probably I got $350 for this item from Fashion File, and I probably paid about that same amount when I got it from Italy after getting the value-added taxes back from it as well. So it was pretty much an even exchange. I don't feel like I really lost money with the sale of this item, but I just found that I wasn't using it. And then when I added the Gucci key pouch to my collection, I was using and gravitating toward that more because it fit more items, in my opinion, than this one did. So I just went ahead and parted ways with this one. The next item that I sold, and it's why I actually had to refilm the video because I totally forgot that I sold this item, and I just sold it like a few weeks ago, which is so funny. But I think because I didn't sell it through a reseller, my mom decided to buy the item from me. So I told my mother that I was gonna be selling, I'm gonna insert the picture, but it is the Louis Vuitton Neo Alma PM bag in the black empreinte leather, gold hardware. I told my mother that I was planning on selling the bag just because, again, it wasn't getting a lot of use. Before I do decide to sell things, I do use them like maybe a few times just to make sure that I'm good off of it. I don't know. That's just kind of what I do. And so I used it. I still like the bag. But then my mother came to visit and she asked me about the bag again. She told me, yeah, like, if you don't want it, I'll totally buy it from you. Cause I told her I was gonna look at reselling it to one of the resale websites again. And so she bought the bag from me, and funny enough, when I saw her carrying the bag, and this is no shade or anything, my mother has always loved that bag, and I love that bag. That was my favorite Louis Vuitton bag for quite some time. But when I saw her carrying the bag, I was like done with it. I was like, yeah, that bag definitely looks good on her. It's just not my season anymore for that bag. And I loved that bag. Perfect mid-size bag, had zippers. It was actually a bag I was gonna take with me to London to carry, But because even with the on-prompt leather and it not being as structured as like the, say the canvas pieces or even the epi leather pieces, it is softer with it being on prompt. But I was just really afraid of damaging the bag taking it to London with me. So I decided to leave that one home. And yeah, I took like a Lululemon. I bought a Lululemon bag to specifically wear on that trip to London and Paris, and that bag worked out really well. And so yeah, it's a really good bag. I lost all interest in it when I saw her carrying it, which is really weird. But yeah, like I feel like it fit her more. She loved that bag from the inception of me buying it. She absolutely loved that bag. So I'm glad that she now has it in her closet. She's using it, she's wearing it. And it's so funny, I forgot all about that bag. I forgot all about that bag. So I don't know, guys. But yeah, no other story except that I just was ready to part ways with it. So yeah, I parted ways with it. She decided to buy it. So that's kind of all the story there is with that one. The last item that I'm in the process of selling, it has not sold yet. I do have it on the RealReal, and it is none other than the bag that started the luxury obsession for me. And that is the Louis Vuitton Damier Ebene Neverfull GM. So you guys, I mean, I don't think the bag needs any introduction, but this is the bag here. Yeah, and that's the bum bag that I sold earlier too. But yeah, it's this bag here. I purchased it in 2016 from a auction that I won on eBay. And I ended up winning the auction and got the bag for $800. It didn't come with the pouch that comes with the Neverfulls, but it is from the 2013. And then it also has the like cursive writing on the interior, on the red interior. And so, yeah, the bag is in really good condition. I actually got the straps replaced on the bag earlier this year because the glazing was melting. So I took it to Louis Vuitton. They did replace it for free. I carried it a few times after the glazing was replaced. I just still don't like the bag. The main issue I have with the Neverfull is the strap drop is not long enough for my long arms. So whenever I carry anything inside the bag, it just feels exponentially like heavier than it should. And it just hurts my shoulders. Yeah, so when I added the Longchamp Le Pliage in the size large, earlier, a few months back, as well as the Goyard Artois MM. Those strap drops are perfect for me. The size of both bags are perfect. They have the zipper top, so they're secure. So yeah, I just was very, very much ready to part ways with the Neverfull. So I'm really hoping someone buys this bag soon. I feel like it's been on the website the longest and it's been the most difficult to sell. They are selling it for $1,275. I think they retail for over $2,000 in the boutique now. Someone please buy this bag. I'm ready to get my payout and money from it and be done with it. But yeah, that's the last bag I've sold. So I don't know how many bags that is. That's 1, 2, as far as bags, 2, 3, 4, the almost 5. So 5 bags. And then the small leather good is 6 items. So I've sold 6 items this year. I don't know how I bypassed that. Yeah, 6 items this year. So yeah, that is kind of the items that I've sold or in the process of selling and why. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, you enjoyed this commentary, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Also make sure you share with anyone else who likes this type of content, wants to know how people go about selling their bags. So definitely share this video with them. Comment below, did you sell any items and why? Did you invest the money in like stocks, real estate, saving, or in other luxury items? Comment below, let me know if you put your money into certain investments. I'm definitely curious about that. Let me know below as well, because I might look into that as also. But also make sure you subscribe to the channel. We are still on that journey for 1,000 subscribers. So you can help me get there by subscribing and hitting the red button below. Also hitting the bell next to it so you're notified when I do upload future videos. Again, you guys, thank you so very much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I will see you in the new year. Bye, guys.